The sun was setting over the rolling hills of Georgia, casting a golden glow over the sprawling plantation that belonged to the O'Hara family. Scarlett O'Hara stood on the veranda of the great antebellum house, watching the sunset with a look of wistfulness in her eyes. She had always loved the beauty of the South, with its sprawling fields of cotton and magnolia trees that seemed to bloom endlessly. As she gazed out into the distance, she noticed a figure emerging from the forest that bordered the plantation. It was a young man with chiseled features and an otherworldly grace that seemed out of place in this part of the world. He wore a dark coat and had a shock of bronze-colored hair that glimmered in the fading light. Scarlett felt her heart skip a beat as the young man approached her. She couldn't explain why, but there was something about him that drew her in like a moth to a flame. As he drew closer, she could see that his eyes were a deep, piercing shade of gold, and they seemed to hold a world of secrets. "Good evening, miss," he said, his voice rich and velvety. "My name is Edward Cullen. I am new to these parts, and I was hoping you could tell me more about this lovely plantation." Scarlett was taken aback by his smooth, formal demeanor. She had never encountered a man quite like him before, and found herself struggling to find the words to respond. "Well, this here is Tara," she finally managed to say. "It's been in my family for generations. We grow cotton and raise livestock, and we're doing just fine, thank you kindly." Edward smiled politely, but Scarlett could sense that he was hiding something. There was a strange intensity in his gaze that made her uneasy, but also intrigued her. As they stood on the veranda, the wind began to pick up, and Scarlett's dress billowed around her like a crimson flag. She felt a sudden rush of excitement, like she was on the brink of some great adventure. Little did she know, her life was about to take a dramatic turn, as the mysterious stranger with the golden eyes would soon reveal his true nature, and her world would never be the same again. As the days went by, Scarlett found herself irresistibly drawn to Edward despite her better judgment. She knew that there was something not quite right about him, something that set him apart from the other men she had known, but she couldn't deny the electric attraction she felt whenever he was near. Edward, for his part, was equally fascinated by Scarlett. He had never encountered a woman quite like her before, with her fiery spirit and her determination to survive, no matter what. He admired her strength and her resilience, and he found himself wanting to protect her from the dangers that lurked in the shadows. But there were other forces at work, dark and dangerous forces that threatened to tear Scarlett and Edward apart. For Edward was not a mere mortal man, but a vampire, cursed to walk the earth for eternity, forever thirsty for the blood of the living.